Did Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez steal copyrighted material with her famous Met Gala Tax the Rich dress? I'm going to spend the next 4 minutes discussing that. I'm Angela Langlotz, trademark and copyright attorney. I go live here on weekdays to discuss trademark and copyright law. If you have trademark or copyright law questions, drop them into the comments below. I'll answer them on a future live video. So there was a bit of a stir made earlier this week when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, representative from the state of New York, showed up at the Met Ball, incidentally, a ball that only wealthy people can afford, in a dress that said, "Tax the rich." I thought this was the most delicious irony, but I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm just going to be talking about the copyright issue because it was discovered that there was a creator that made some street graffiti, and that street graffiti looked an awful lot like some of what was on her dress. Let's have a look. So here you can see on the left, this is the famous fancy Tax the Rich dress. And then over here on the right is some street art that was created by whoever this artist is right here, right? The signature. I don't even know who the artist is. It's not important. But look at the mask. What does it say? Tax the rich. That's kind of interesting. And look at the script. The script looks very much like the script on her dress. So let's dive into that. So, as the threshold issue here, is the tax the rich phrase capable of being copyrighted? Is it creative enough? Well, courts have already decided that words, individual words, and short phrases are not capable of being protected by copyright. Why? Well, because they're not creative enough. So your work, in order to be protected by copyright, has to reach some threshold level of creativity first. So here I would say the tax the rich phrase, it's probably not creative enough. In addition to that, people have been saying tax the rich forever, right? Like at least since the 60s here in the United States. So the phrase itself is not creative. We've been saying it for ages. It comes up every year in Congress. They say we ought to tax rich people more. So tax the rich, not very creative. But what about the font? Now, here in the United States, it's different in some other countries, but here in the United States, excuse me, fonts are not capable of copyright protection. They're not considered creative enough, which is kind of weird because a lot of fonts are very creative and do involve a high degree of creative work from the artist when they're creating the font, but nonetheless, they are not capable of copyright protection here in the US. So I'm going to come down on the side of this is not copyright infringement. Now, in order to be copyright infringement, you have to sort of copy the essence of the work, right? And that's not really being done here. The tax the rich lettering and the phrase on this piece of art is actually a very small piece of the artwork. So I'm going to say that this is not copyright infringement and that this is a tempest in a teacup. And I don't care whether she copied the phrase or copied the font. This does not rise to the threshold of something that would be considered trademark infringement. If you have trademark and copyright law questions, drop them into the comments below. I'll answer them on a future live video. I'm Angela Langlotz. You can find me online at TrademarkDoctor.net. I'm on YouTube. I have almost 500 videos there. You can find me there at video.TrademarkDoctor.net /YouTube. I'm also on Facebook at facebook.com/TrademarkDoctor.